Hello again. From midnight tonight, you'll be paying well over 26 Rand for a litre of petrol. 93 octane petrol is going to cost you 2 Rand 37 cents more, while 95 octane increases by 2 Rand 57 cents a litre. Now, the ripple effect will not only impact motorists, but the cost of goods will also rise across the board. eNCA reporter Nqobile Madlala is in Johannesburg. She's been up and about today, speaking to several people involved, including business owners, garage owners. She's going to give us an update this afternoon of what she has picked up. Nqobile, good afternoon. I see you standing there in the traffic as load shedding is happening with the traffic lights not working. Then it's now a familiar scene in and around South Africa. But you've been asking South Africans today about the big hike in the price of fuel that's coming to play from midnight. And the general consensus is that this is just too much.
Well, definitely, Pradan, they've been saying that it's just too much. They're saying there's a lot to deal with. Like you said, they're dealing with load shedding as well as fuel hikes. And they're talking about the fact that food is becoming expensive and commuting is becoming expensive. And a lot of things is becoming expensive. I mean, some people were talking about the fact that going to work is becoming even more difficult. So others were even saying that they're going to leave their cars now and decide to walk, because that's the only way they're going to be able to afford some of their life, essentially. But let's listen in some more to some of the South Africans that spoke to us.
Affect petrol sister ngoba ngoka ngenyawo iphake nekului manje ngihamba ngenyawo vele.
If the price of litre going up again, it's another dent on my pocket, like, honestly, because I make that money only to put it back into my tank. So it's ridiculous, and I feel like it's a scam. Honestly, it's a scam.
Sisiphethe because of like amagibela abaningi lento ukuthi ipetrol iyakhuphuka each and every time. Iyaba affect because abasahambi ngemoto zabo, and thina abadriver is affected emholweni wethu because of like maybe for a day bo tell about the drive imagine maybe it has to be 800 and then so it's affecting nje.
I don't know what's happening with the petrol. Petrol is too high, and even the food is too high, so I don't know what was going to do. So there's nothing can I do.
So, Nqobile, I understand you also spoke to Santaco, the taxi organization, and I remember interviewing them a few weeks ago. They were saying July is their normal period where they consider fare hikes in terms of commuters. I'm sure this latest petrol price hike is going to affect this industry badly.
Well, indeed, Pradan, when we spoke to Santaco, they just expressed how deeply this is affecting them. They spoke about the fact that their passengers are going through a lot, and they also need to now consider passengers, but at the same time they are worried about the fact that on a monthly basis, they said, petrol keeps going up, and because it keeps going up, it's making it very difficult for them to work. But at the same time, it's now starting to tap into their profits, but as well as just the general business sector on a whole. They're finding that they're now making a loss. So for them, it's quite a difficult moment, and they're in a binder really whether to think about their business or to think about the commuters. But at the same time, they said that they are speaking to the government, and they're trying to make sure that their commuters are getting some subsidies to ensure that they can still continue affording their transport. But let's listen in to the Santaco as they speak to us.
Also on the N1s, on the toll gate. The toll gate are going up twice a year. Recently they have gone up. So if you look at what the profit we were doing last year this time, our profit have gone down by 10%. There's nothing we can do because remember the petrol is going up. If you look from now, every month the petrol is going up. Until December they said the petrol will be going up. So for now, what we have been gaining, or the profit that we have been taking home, it will go down again by 5%. It means at the end of this year, we'll be doing minus 15% of our profit.
I understand, Nqobile, you also touched base with an economist earlier today, and who's warning motorists and consumers that there will be even more tougher days ahead.
Well, more bad news indeed, Bredan. The Economist just telling us that things are about to get even tougher. So she's saying that at this point we are going to see more inflation, but she is cautioning that maybe it might be time for us to look into our luxuries and cutting back perhaps on that to ensure that we provide for basic needs. Let's listen in some more as Nqobile Madlala explains.
Unfortunately, we are going to see a lot of challenge throughout the remainder of the year. This is just the beginning, if not the ongoing challenge of this inflationary increase. We are seeing not only the shortage of fuel from the war that is happening, it's also the impact of our exchange rates, which has slightly strengthened in this month, but is overall a little bit weaker than before. And that in itself is contributing to a much worse impact on the fuel price than we would have seen in another situation.
But of course, a lot of a household are going to feel this. It's going to be very difficult looking at the fact that there's also food baskets that they still need to worry about. Are we sitting on inflation, or are we going to have more inflation?
We are seeing the direct impact of the fuel price through fuel prices, but the inflationary effect comes through our food prices, our logistics prices, the price of transport. So we're really going to see it in terms of the CPI measure itself, which was 6.5 in the last month and will continue to escalate over the remainder of the year. And that in itself brings a reaction from the Reserve Bank, which has already warned of interest rate hikes this year. So overall, the consumer effect is going to be real pinching on the balance sheet of households. We need to look at ways of saving money, focusing on essentials and trying to reduce luxuries where possible, just to manage the situation we're facing.